Hello, everyone. It's Whitney, and I want to welcome you to Ladies Takeover Empowerment Podcast, where we're all about helping you to succeed and become the very best version of yourself. So it's season 6, our relationship edition, and we are live. And on today, I have some of my very closest friends, and they're really more like family. I'm so excited that they are here on today to talk to me and you that are listening about love and business. So, hello, the Coates. How are you guys?
Hello. Doing good.
That's good. So, this is Steve and Tiana Coates, and I want you guys to just talk to everyone who is listening. We're here to just have a natural conversation about your relationship, how you guys maneuver through your business, and how you made all of that work. But to start off, just share with everyone whatever you want them to know, like how long you've been married, where you live, if you have any kids, all that good stuff to start off with.
Okay, we've been married for 24 years.
Really?
Been together for 31.
Wow.
3 kids.
Okay.
29, 35, and 37.
Y'all don't look like you can have kids that old. What?
Yeah, I said the same thing.
That's amazing. That's great. And so you live right here in the Waldorf area?
Yes, well, actually, Akakeek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So is there anything you want to tell us special about your relationship to start off?
So I would say what's special about our relationship is that, at a young age, we met each other 20, 21. And I believe that was one of the best things for me in my life at that time. And it's just been a blessing to have someone that been with me through the ups, the downs, to love to death do us part and all the in between. So that was special. That was special. So I'm excited about that.
That's good. Well, since you mentioned it, tell us how you guys met each other. Who's going to tell the real story?
Well, I'm going to tell the real story.
Go ahead.
Okay, we were at a club in D.C. I think it was called the East Side. And I was so the East Side is like everybody kind of hangs outside. Everybody driving their cars up and down, back and forth. So I was sitting up on top of the car.
Okay.
So this car comes and kind of backs in or whatever, and 3 guys in it.
Okay.
So this dude comes around, gets out the car, and I'm sitting on top of the car, and he goes, "Hey." So I'm like, "Hey." He was like, "Well, I'm just saying, you want me or my cousin?"
Oh, this is Steve.
I was like, "Me or your cousin? What is this?" I said, "First of all, I don't know you, and I don't want you or your cousin."
Okay, I know that's right. Good answer.
But that's how we met. And pretty much that was it.
Okay, but then how did you get to the being together? You said, I don't want to talk to either one of you.
So she gave me her number, and we connected later that day.
Wait, so hold on. She gave you her number.
You see that with that line?
Yes.
You see that? That was that. See? Because there was something about that line, something she heard ain't nobody ever said before. It was that uniqueness, that individuality.
I got you.
Anyway, so we met later. We talked at that while we was out there. We talked, and at the time I was there. I had a business.
Really?
So to talk about love and business.
Okay.
So I'd like to incorporate everying and everything I do with business and love.
Okay.
But anyway, it was phenomenal. She called me back. We talked. We met at Sam's Car Wash on Branch Avenue where everybody would meet at.
Okay.
And from there, it was just something that we just started hanging out. I'll say this too. It was one time I remember asking, because at this time in my life, I was just tired of just having girlfriend after girlfriend, just doing the things that I didn't want to do any longer. I had prayed for a wife. I was tired of living the way I was.
At 20, you said 21?
Yeah,
Really?
I was praying earlier that year. So we met in August. Actually, August the 1st, August the 3rd of 1991. In February, I was praying, God, I need a wife. I don't want to do nothing. I was celibacy for a couple of months.
You know what?
A couple of months. Man.
I was holding on. was like, wait.
I was holding on. I was like, God, you gotta give me a wife because I don't know how long I'm gonna make it. But
That's funny.
but I end up meeting her. And again, at that time in my life, I just was tired of running up and down with females. I was tired of this, and I wanted a wife. And I knew God promised me that, he finds a wife, finds a good thing. So when I met her, I didn't know at the time, but all the things afterward, it was just connection. It was just how I know it was God, because I was praying for a wife and God gave it to me in my weakness when I was not doing what I was supposed to do, but God still kept his promise. He was faithful.
All right, you better
in keeping
come
his
on.
promise.
That's
Yep.
all right. That's fantastic. Well, since you mentioned love and business, I'll take it to this point before we get into like exactly how you guys maneuver through your business and your relationship. How do you, or is communication important? And if it is important in any relationship, especially marriage, how important is it for you to communicate to each other?
It's very important because if just period, as far as the communication is, we got to make sure that we are on the same page. If we not on the same page, and I feel like it wouldn't work.
Gotcha.
Like it's working now.
Gotcha.
So
it is important, but who communicates better then? Who's the best at communicating?
probably Steve.
I don't think I'm the best.
Really?
I think
No,
Steve.
I don't. I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say that I don't, but I do see areas that I always can improve in communication. I think communication is a key to the relationship, but I don't communicate all the time, right? She may think it's like that, but I think she communicate more, but it is key. It's key because you want to make sure that you're on the same page with everything.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that there's nothing that's being said that's not understood in the way that you say it.
Right.
And I think that's important. And just making sure that is important. I didn't know this 21. I'm a promise. So when I was communicating, my communication wasn't like it is now.
Right.
Having a wife and being together so many years, I have gotten better at it. So even though my wife says that I am, I think she is.
Here's the thing. So let's talk about this real quick, and I'm going to take it back to what we was talking about. But has your husband ever told you, I told you something, knowing that, and in your heart of hearts, that he did not tell you what it is that he said?
All the time.
She always
I
said
be
that.
thinking he did. I said, no, you told somebody else. You did not tell me.
Exactly. That's exactly
it
what
happens
happened.
all the time.
Oh, trust and believe.
All the
I
time.
understand
All
all
the
the way, because your husband and my husband are very similar.
Very similar.
Very
Yes.
similar. Very similar. It's almost like y'all were born twins
Yes.
and then separated
Absolutely.
somehow.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
It is.
How similar you guys are. But I think that when it comes to communication and in a marriage, that what ends up happening sometimes is that it's not always that we're the best at communicating. Right. I think that sometimes, especially the longer you've been married, you get used to how a person communicates. Yeah. So then eventually you're like, oh, well, I already know what they're thinking. Their nonverbal communication tells a whole lot more. So you think that people are communicating, but it's like, I don't really know if you're communicating effectively. Why am I saying that? Because I know your husband and my husband, and they go and they travel, and they've traveled all around the world together, right? Yes. And the way that they communicate to other people and trying to get a message across and help them to understand things that no one could probably comprehend without some of their assistance and some of the things that they do, especially in the financial world. It's like, it's so detailed, it's so specific, it's very... sometimes I heard Steve kind of go off a little bit on people, but most of the time it's like, you're very patient.
Yes, very.
And then when you have your relationship, it doesn't seem like the communication is as specific, detailed, and patient.
That is
Yes.
true.
No, maybe so.
I think that my husband is more patient with everyone else but me. And he don't think so. But
And you don't think
I be
so.
hearing him on the phone, you know, talking, you know, business and everything. And he's so patient. And then sometimes the you know, the people that he's talking to will ask the question more than once. And he's good with
and
that.
still repeat the answer
If
again.
I don't get it the
first time.
we're like, I said this. I said, you're not patient. I always tell myself, you're not patient with me.
It's selective patience.
Yes,
But I was-
selective. Yes,
I'm gonna say, and I think that for me, I'm gonna tell you what in my mind, and this communication again, for me is that I'm expecting my wife to know me. So if she know me, she should
already
know
know.
this. Like certain things I know about my wife. Like she can do stuff. I know my wife. If I was blindfolded, I walk in the room, I see, or I mean, if
Hear
I
her
walk in the
voice.
room and see that she did, oh yeah, that's my wife. And I think that that's the part that it's not that I'm not patient. It's that it's not that I ain't patient. I'm like, well, babe, you know me. You know what I'm gonna do. You know I'm gonna say this. You know I'm gonna ask this. You know,
Yeah.
like I asked her, well, where you get that purse?
always into my business.
There you go. Why you asking me where I get it? Well, how long you had it? I had this for years.
A year ago.
The purse just came out a month ago. Oh, was it a month ago? You know I know, because I know my wife. But I'm just saying, you know. So I do believe that, like you're right. I do believe that I am more patient, not because these people that don't know me.
Yeah, I understand.
They don't know me, so they don't know when, you know, and not that I don't want to be patient with my wife. I just got a higher expectation.
I understand. I mean, that's a really great way to put it. I understand. And I think that it's not just your spouse, but it's people in your family,
Your kids.
anybody, your kids. You know, you have an expectation. You'll get frustrated with them more than you will with strangers. And my husband says the same thing. I thought that you know me. You should know me. You know what I don't like or do like. So if you doing something, now you're doing it intentionally. Most of the time, yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing it intentional because I want to piss you off because you pissed me off.
To get your
You know what I
attention.
mean? Yes, to get your attention. So that leads me to this next question about your communication and how you deal with it. So what or how do you think your spouse has made you better?
You want me to go first? So I'm gonna tell you what really intrigued me. What really just made me really gravitate and just knew that my wife was my wife, even when she was my girlfriend when I first met her. So she stayed over my house.
Okay.
Right. We first met. After we met, and she used to get up, and she was just get up early in the morning. It's Saturday morning. Then she got off from work, came to my house Friday night, stayed. Saturday morning, she get up and get dressed and sit on the bed like she was all together. I'm like, wait a minute now. I ain't never had a girl do this. This is strange right here. What in the world? And to me, my life was in shambles. I needed structure. I needed somebody to help bring and add that value that I didn't have.
Gotcha.
I wasn't used to that.
Gotcha.
So I was like, wait a minute. And then, you know, she just had everything in order. She had kept all up, you know, her balance in the checkbooks. My mother did that. But to find a girl to do that, at this point, none of the girls I dealt
so
with
young,
was at that point structured, you know, well put together, just had everything that I didn't have. Let me say it like that. And that's what attracted me even more. That's why I say, God, I know this is my wife.
I know that's
so I think I got better at that with her. I got better at communicating. I got better at hearing God God telling me, you do your part. Husbands, love your wife as Christ is of the church and gave himself for it. I got better at understanding that I got to worry about me, what I'm supposed to do, and then God will take care of what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. I can go on and on. It's so many things that I know how she made me better, you know, been with me through all of the times that I wasn't doing good, when I wasn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, just being there, it made me see stability. It made me see commitment in a new light. It made me understand that, and really it was God showing me that when he give you a wife or give you someone, that they're going to be committed to you. So anyway, I can go on and on, but it's so many different things. But that's what I loved about her. It was that one moment I got up that Saturday morning. I'm like, what you doing? We ain't going nowhere. You better get back in the bed. We ain't going nowhere.
You like, hold on a second. That's beautiful. So what about you, Tanyana?
I think Steve makes me better as far as I am easy when I'm doing something and it doesn't go right, or he be like, no, Tiana, don't give up. You know, you can do it. He gives me like the confidence that I can do anything, you know, and that's what I needed. And just anything that I want to do or need to do, he's like always there, even though sometimes when I don't want to hear him saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, like we just had a conversation last night, you know, about, you know, I said I wanted to, you know, finish my book.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, do you have this in place? Do you have this in place? And I was like, no, I don't. He's like, how you, and you know, expect to be doing, you know, be an author or writing a book, and you haven't even done this thing. And I did get upset. But then I'm like, no, he's telling me the right thing.
Yeah.
He's right. I'm not doing this. So he encourages me, and then he loves me, and then he's very affectionate. I, you know, wasn't used to that, you know, and did just all those things. And it's so much more too, but yeah.
Tell them about the one story. It was one story, and I know we ain't gonna be long, but the one story that I didn't know. I was just doing what I was supposed to do, and you called me, told me, and I think that was an impact. That was a defining moment for my wife, I believe. When
you talking about when I
yeah.
I was working, so I was at work, and my boss had called me to the office, and she was like, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, what's going on, you know? So I go in there, and she goes, well, we have to let you go.
Really?
You know, so I was like, I was devastated. But of course, I'm holding it in because I don't want nobody to see or know what's going on.
Right.
So she was like, you know, we have to take this next step. I'm not going to make it seem obvious, but we have to walk you out. So she's walking me downstairs, and I thought I was going to lose it. And the first person I called was Steve. I called him. I was like, they let me go. He was like, okay.
And
like, okay. And he said, okay. Just come on home, and you gonna be all right. And just from that point on, he never judged. He was just always there. When I was scared to tell everybody else, because I didn't even tell my mother. She called me a job. They said she don't work here no more. I didn't tell my mom.
Really?
Yeah. But you see, I mean, and the thing was, me and him was going through something at the time where I kind of like put him out. But the next day I called, and he could have easily said, no, I'm not going to do that, you know. But he was there. I mean, just through it all, through me crying and feel like I want to give up. He was like, a job why are you crying over that job? You can find other jobs. You're going to be all right. And then that point on, I knew that he was the one. I knew that he had my back no matter what.
No,
that's when I was the one.
It wasn't until then.
It wasn't until then.
But
that was years later.
That wasn't. But that's true. That's true, and that's how it works. And for people who don't know, I was talking to someone who's single, a young lady who was single, and she said that a older gentleman gave her advice and told her, make sure that the man that you end up being with or you end up marrying, make sure he loves you first before you love him. And my mom said it probably not in the most palatable way, but she was saying, like, you know, you want your husband to love you more than you love him. And she was saying that because like you said, your job is to love your wife. If you love right, then if your husband loves you right, you'll automatically start to love him back.
Yes.
But what ends up happening, in my opinion, is that women like just fall all over the man. He never once say he loved you. You all in, and you're not even sure if he in. He like 50-50. And then you wondering why you're chasing him around and all of that different type of stuff. So, Steve, real quick, for people who are wondering, or some of the single women that are watching, how can you tell them if a man really is in love with them, or they know that they're the one and they want to get married to them without them, if the man never even says it yet? Because you said you knew it early on.
Well, I prayed for a wife, and I didn't know at the time. It wasn't until I was going through some things, and I never forget this. We were standing out in front of my house, and I was like, I said, listen, I'm tired of running up and down with females. Either you're gonna be there for me, or you're not. I need to know now, because if that's the case, then you need to go ahead and leave, because I don't need this. I'm looking for the person that God. And she was like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna be there. And that was at the beginning of the relationship. She didn't even know me that much. She didn't know what I had went through 4 or 5 years earlier. She didn't know what I was going to.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know what I was going to put her through in the next 7 to 8 years. So I would say this, that a woman got to make sure one thing, and you said it, you hit it on the nose, that they're going to most definitely have their best interest in heart. It's nothing going to be tied to it. It's going to be an unconditional love. Yeah. It's not going to be conditions. It's not going to be if, nothing. It's always, or I'm committed to it. And I think for women, they got to really discern that at an early stage, that if a man really, and it's little things that's being said that most women probably not paying attention to. So they got to be open to hear exactly what they saying, because some men won't probably. I mean, I done did it to females. I lied to them. I told them this and didn't mean it. I done said things that I knew I wasn't gonna do. I knew I didn't want. I knew it wasn't gonna be like that. But I think it'll show up, the action, before you open your mouth, it'll show up. And it's a hard thing.
I agree. So then, with that being said, and you guys have been through a lot. I mean, it's inevitable. You've been together. You said 24 years? Is that what you said? Married for 24?
Married for 31.
32.
It will be 32 this year.
No, it'll be.
So I can only imagine some of the stories and things that you have been through. So out of that, probably pick a story that can best show how you guys deal with your business and conflict, like, because you have more than one business that you guys run and do things together. So help people understand, when conflict comes up, how do you guys still handle your business?
She said, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay, that's what people want.
Okay. Steve always wanted the business.
Okay.
That was not for me. I only knew the 9 to 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. So when we were, he wanted to get a store. So I was not on board at all. So what happened was, he was working, and he also was getting the store together. And then I was working, and what happened was, I got laid off of my job. So when I got laid off of my job, I still was saying, I'm not going to run.
I didn't ask her, so I didn't pressure her, because I know that wasn't her thing. So I said, I'm not going to pressure her. Right. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to invade what I want for her, because I want her to get what she wants. Right. But go ahead.
So I kept on trying to apply for jobs, kept applying, and there was no answer. Nobody's calling back, none of that. Sent out resumes, doing all of this extra stuff. And the store was getting ready to open up. So I went in there. I was like, oh, because I didn't even see the vision.
Really?
I did not even see the, of how it was going to turn out. When we went to look at the building, it was just empty. And so I finally went in there. They had it all nice. And I was like, oh, it does look like a store, And then all the way up until it was time for the store to open, I still didn't get a job. So I went in there. I said, all right, I'm only going to do this for this amount of time. And no, God had other plans.
I know that's right.
God was like, no, you need to help your husband.
And 15 years later.
And 15 years later, here we go.
Yeah.
So I think we just, with that too, we just gotta, when it comes to the business, we just kind of gotta, how can I say it? I don't know.
Let me say this. So the conflict was, I would tell my wife stuff that I knew. Now, when I met her, I had a business.
Okay.
I had a landscaping business that I was doing extremely well. I was 21. I started it with my uncle's equipment, and he didn't want to do it. I did all the work. I built the business in like 8 months. I built it to I was making $350 a day in 91. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I had built multiple businesses before that. So I knew what business looked like. I understood, because every time I worked a job, I only worked the job to learn the business aspect of how they was running things. So it was stuff like, they broke into our store one time, and no, before they broke in, I used to tell Tiana, you got to leave the cash register open so people see that there's nothing in it. No, you don't. Why would you do that? I'm saying, Tiana, that's what you do. You leave. She didn't believe me.
Really?
So they broke in our store and tore the cash register up, and the police came in and said, nah, y'all got to leave the cash register open.
Wow.
So she had to,
she had to hear it from them.
She had to hear it. And being being an entrepreneur, I had learned so many things that I could not push on my wife, because she had one thing in mind. For years, she would come to the store, do her 7, 8 hours, and leave. I'm like, Tana, it don't work like that. I'm at home trying to still run the business, thinking about other things, how to make things happen. What can I market? Who can I market to? How can I make it better? And my wife would turn it off like it was her job. I'm like, this not a job. So we used to clash there a lot. Not just that, with a lot of different things that we did in business. I think she started realizing when and so for me, this is what I thought. She should know me. She know me. She know when I do something, I don't stop until it gets successful. She's seeing what I'm doing. I'm thinking that she picking up, on how I'm doing things. But I think that conflict really, when she started saying that it was certain stuff she had to do, it started getting better. It was relieving me from trying to do it all.
Right.
And when I was saying, babe, I need help, and I think that
then over the years, I just started to understand, what he was telling me, even though I didn't want to hear, because I'm thinking my mindset was totally from.
She was brainwashed by the 9 to 5. You know how they that world.
And then I had to realize,
especially when you work in the government.
Right. And then I had to realize, this is our business. This is what we have to do. This is
making us money to live on. We don't have no other job.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. So really, she got laid off on that job in 2006 or 2006. Oh, yeah, 2006, 2007. She didn't get another job. She worked another job for like 3 months. They laid her off again. Or she left because they had a dog. She didn't want to be.
So they used to bring their dogs to work. No, they used to bring big dogs like this. 3 of them in the office. And they come on over there, no, you got to go. No, I got to go.
I'm out of here.
So I built this whole brand. I built this whole store. I mean, not just a store before that. I built a customer base that was huge. And now I said, well, I need to put it in a local, central place. Because I can't run up and down no more. I'm doing a lot. And I want to expand. So I end up, creating a store. My wife come in and said, oh, I want to work here. I want to do it, because I was hiring people. And then she was like, no, I want to do this. And she didn't have a job. But this is how God worked. Where she had to work at, because she was always trying to duck people.
That's enough.
God's like, you duck long enough. Now it's time for you to be.
Now you're the face of the store.
Now she got to be the face of the store.
At the beginning, I was not a people person. So I'm going to let you know. Sorry for all the customers that I was nasty to. But to be honest,
That is funny. It happens like
now
that
they love me.
sometimes. It happens like that sometimes.
I had
It
to
really
learn over the
does.
years. So
it really does.
God worked with me, so I'm good now.
Yeah, that's good. I'm telling you, I have a similar story. It's interesting because my idea of what my life looked like never included being an entrepreneur or doing any business endeavors. The most I thought about was having a music school, and I still didn't see it from the aspect that I would be doing all the planning and putting all of the stuff into it for a fine arts program. I wanted to be the principal or like the administrator over stuff. Come in when I felt like it,
Right.
talk to everybody, hey y'all, make sure everything was good, and then leave back out. That was what I had in my mind. I never processed all that it takes to make something come to pass. And it's interesting because there's a movement of women who want to be empowered and they want to be their own boss, and they call them girl bosses and all this different stuff. However, I think that when you're in a relationship, in a marriage, that there's this word called submission that a lot of times that people kind of shy away from. But the reality is that he had the vision, and it was for us to undergird. As wives, we're to undergird that vision and help push it forward. But what we do is, you got your thing, I got my thing.
That's how I used to
And
be.
that's how we start to carry things. And it's like, well, why can't we work together?
Yes.
How can we make this happen together? And for a long time, I would feel, I don't know what the word is that I want to use, but maybe I'll just, for a lack of a better word, I'll say, I had like animosity towards my husband, because I was just like, this is what you chose to do.
Yeah.
You didn't ask
That's
me.
what I
Used to be
used
me.
to.
You didn't tell me any of these plans. Like, you told me in the beginning you wanted to be like a minister and like preach, but that was kind of like the totality of it. All this extra stuff that's coming with it. I didn't agree to this.
Yeah.
But now I'm in it. So now the reality is if I don't help, I hinder. If I do help, I'm hindering because I ain't helping the way you want me to.
Right.
So now how do I help?
Right.
How do I help?
Yeah.
And so my question with saying all of that to you is, Tiana, how did you figure out how to help him? Because you didn't know what to do at first. How did it come about that you guys are where you are now?
I think we argued. We went through a lot of, stuff. And I just had to realize that I just had to help him, and it was hard because it was always, here he come with this. I'm like, what is going on now?
She
like,
told
what
me
else
one
did you get?
time.
Why are you doing this? Can I do something for me? I was famous for that. Can I do something for me? Are you going to help me with what I need to do? And then he goes, well, what do you want to do? And I go, oh.
I don't know, but
I'm mad at him because he had all these ideas and it's working. I'm like, what about what I want to do? He was like, okay, well, what is it? And then, of course, I'd be like, I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do.
Okay, do what you're doing now until you figure out what.
Right.
But this, the great part about it is that she had, and she was in similar, she would get mad and tell me, I don't want to do this. And then she would say, I guess I'm going to lose my husband now. You starting another business. I'm really going to lose you. I'm really But the reality is she never seen the end, well, not the end of where she at now. So she run the store. She managed East Bay Construction, a multi-million-dollar construction company that do infrastructure work. The stores that we did multiple millions since we've been there, right? And she helped with the driving school. And she doing all other stuff that a wife's supposed to do. You understand?
Yes.
She would have never seen herself there
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it came to the fact that she just had to go through some of the processes.
Yeah.
She just had to listen. I'm like, baby, if you just listen to me. First of all, I used to do this a lot. I said, do you think I got your best interests at heart? Do you think I love you? You know I love you. You know I got your... Why would I tell you something?
Right.
Because when you go and do anything, you represent us. When I do something, I represent us. Of course, God first.
Yeah.
So I want you being the best representation of God in us.
Right.
Yeah.
I want you to represent us well.
Yeah.
So everything I'm saying, I'm telling you what I see, and I want you to tell me what I need to do. I'm not saying I don't want to learn. I want to know everything.
Right.
You know, especially when it comes to personal development or me being better and representing. But she'll never see herself as now she's managing. She's at the store, managing the store. She's managing the construction company. She's doing multiple things that she would have never seen herself do.
I understand 100%. And I remember when my husband got into a company that will remain nameless, but I was like, what in the world? And then it was like he wanted me to feel that same excitement. And I was angry because he had a really good job and he quit for 6 figures. I was like, well, hold on a second. Like, their bonuses be like $20,000. And then he came home and was like, I got to quit. Quit what? To do what? What are we saying here? To work a business? But I was like, I'm not comprehending what you're saying. And it took me a very long time to see what it was that he was saying and to understand and to get on board. And later on, I had to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. Because that rough patch is hard in the beginning. But then when you get to the place to where things are good, things are real good. They good.
That's right.
You know? And I think that everybody can't make it through those rough patches. And I believe that the people who God really destined for you are the ones who do make it through those rough patches. You just don't know, because that's what it's so easy. People are like, well, I'll just get a divorce. Why is that even an option?
That shouldn't even cross your mind. That shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
even been in your curve. Like, why would you even think of it?
I had to apologize to Steve too, because I'm gonna tell you, if he would have listened to me, we wouldn't be where we are now. I'm gonna be honest. We would not be where we are. So I had to apologize to him as well.
That's like that was the whole problem with Eve and Adam in the very beginning. That she was over there telling her husband, and he was listening.
He listened.
He listened.
When I get to heaven, I'm gonna kick him right in the chin. What is wrong with you? You sick? Are you crazy? She came walking up to him, probably naked, and he was like, she dropped a couple of fruits in his mouth. He like, oh my god. And that was it. Looked at her when she walked up to him and said, wow, flesh of my flesh.
That is funny. That is funny. Goodness. Well, I want you guys to know how amazing you are, and you guys have been a blessing to my husband and I. We have traveled all around the world with you guys, and just to see you guys, even I know you even before when Tiana didn't even realize that I knew who she was, and I would come into the store and she would just be like, "How you doing?" And that would be it. I mean, you guys have just grown and blossomed, and it's amazing to see your relationship and how you guys work in business together. So I want to end on this. Excuse me. If you had the opportunity to go back in time and you could talk to yourself right before you got married, what would you say to yourself?
I think I would say, don't be selfish. Because going into the marriage, I was selfish. A very selfish person.
Okay.
And Steve used to tell me, he was like, I'm doing this and doing that. I'm doing this and doing this with my money. What you doing?
What are you doing?
You doing that? You know. And it took a long time, but yeah, selfishness.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. Cause I know, I was talking to somebody on Valentine's Day. We went to the MGM and we were getting in the elevator. So all of the guys were in there with their dates, and I came up by myself because Nick was parking the car. So he was just like, happy Valentine's Day to all of y'all, or whatever, to the ladies. And so I said, thank you. I said, well, happy Valentine's Day to you too. And he was like, he looked at me and he said, well, thank you. I mean, no one's ever said that to me before. I said, well, it should be a mutual thing, shouldn't it?
Right.
And he started talking to other guys. He was like, yeah, they have it made on Valentine's Day. The women, it's all about them. I was like, no, it's about each other. I was like, it's about love, period. I tell my kids happy Valentine's Day, my friends, whoever I love.
Right.
But somehow we have it in our minds that we're supposed to be spoiled, that it's all about us. Give me all of the presents and all the gifts. But I took my husband out on Valentine's Day and he was like, you don't have to do it. No, yes, I want to. Let me take you out for a change, and do something different. So I think that it's real important for us to understand. I don't even know if it's how we were brought up or raised, where women take care of the house and then the man takes care of everything. So we think that that's just how it's supposed, the roles, the gender roles, that's how it's supposed to go. Yeah. But go ahead, Steve. What do you think?
So I'm gonna say this real quick because I always tell my wife. So my wife would say, "What's mine is ours. What I got for us is ours. But what's hers was hers." I was like, "Hold on, there's something wrong with this picture. I have nothing to myself, but everything you got is got you involved. You the common denominator." I said, "That don't make it." But anyway, I would say if I had to go back, it wouldn't be nothing that, because I was committed. I was committed when I made my mind up, especially when I knew, after we was together for a couple of months and I said, you're going to be with me. If you're going to be with me, you leave now. And if you're not, that was a sign of commitment for me, that she committed to it. And she said it. So when she said it, I already knew I was going to be committed because I knew I was tired of doing what I did in the past. I had 2 kids by 2 different women, and I was just tired of going through the relationships just to go through. Yeah. And I knew God promised me a wife. So for me, mine's what I would tell myself now is to be more patient, trust God more, with my wife, and to continue to love her even more. Because I don't think it would be for her. I think it would be for me, Because when I look at what I did, I wouldn't have put her through I wouldn't have put her through, but she was built for it. You know what I mean? God built her for me, made her for me like he made me for her. Yeah. So what we went through, all the things we went through, we was built for each other. And I believe that everything happened for the reason that it happened. And I believe that for me, I wouldn't say nothing different because I was committed then. Before we got married, I was committed. I was committed way after we got married. The marriage thing didn't mean that much to me. Actually, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I got letters to back this up.
Really,
man? You wouldn't believe how many times.
No,
you told my wife, and she said, "No, you better marry me."
No, I didn't.
You better marry me.
No, I didn't.
The sooner the better. I got it written down.
I didn't.
The sooner the better. Now she kind of like she kind of like pressured me.
Well, you just said you pressured her.
No, I wanted to, but I'm just saying she pressured me. No, I'm just playing. I wanted to though. I wanted to, and I was again. I was at that point in my life. We was 29. I was 29. She was 28. I was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
You and Dominique Curry, I promise. I promise. He said the same thing. I pressured him. How can anybody pressure you into getting married? Like, you're the one who has to go get the ring. You have to ask the person.
Receipts. You wouldn't believe it. I got receipts all over the place. I had to show her every now and then. I said, you see this? See what you said?
I don't believe it.
She said, I don't believe it. That's funny.
No, but we end up having another vow renewal.
Really?
We had
in 2006.
A wedding in 2006.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
I agreed to it. So
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Well, since you said that you were committed, and we have a little bit of time left, I'm gonna throw this question in there. But I want you to tell me, and Tiana, you can answer first if you want to. Okay. Can a person love 2 people at the same time?
You talking about far as age?
Yeah, like like I mean, like so if you're together and you're with Steve and there's another guy lingering, can't you love him and Steve at the same time, or can
No.
Steve love two women at the same time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he loves her, it better be his daughter and it better be his mama. Okay? I wish.
And the reason why I'm asking is because I know there's a lot of guys who will be like, "This is my main and this is my side."
But that's not love.
What? Thank you. Come
That's
on.
not
So
love.
help somebody, please.
That's not love. That's you just want a fling and a thing.
Thank
That's
you.
all
Help
you
somebody.
want. Yeah. So the reality is that if you love somebody, you are giving your undivided. So God said He loves us so much that His mind is full of us. And when you love somebody, you know you thinking about how you can make them happy, how you can make them better, how you can be a better, you are thinking about this. You can't love two people like that. And I ain't saying that God can, but I don't know. It's a different love.
Yeah.
It's a different love. If you can love your mother, your daughter, your sister, your brothers, but not like you love, which the Bible calls hero, a love for someone that's a different love, but unconditional love override all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't have a main in a thing or whatever. What you call it?
A side piece.
A side piece. Yeah. That's just something that you're doing.
Yeah.
You just want
Something
something.
you wanna do.
You know?
Something that you want to do, but I promise you there's people out there who will be like, I love both of you, or and in my humble opinion, I'm just like, they don't understand what real love is. They don't understand what love looks like to say that you love one person and then turn around and say the same words to somebody else and give them all of this, I love you, I love you, I love you. Well, it's confusing, but some people will accept that as love because they don't think that they're worth anything better than that. They don't love themselves. Or I know a lot of women who will be like, well, I can deal with cheating. I can't deal with certain things, but cheating, everybody cheats. No, they don't. No, they don't. That doesn't have to be your plot.
Your story. That don't have to be your story.
Yeah.
No.
And I think too, it's the definition. What is love to some people? Because what does that mean? Because when I told girls that I really didn't, it was only because I love what I'm gonna get from them. Yeah. Not me saying that that's what I want to spend the rest of my life. That's not something that I believe you the one for me. I want to help you. I mean, help, but to love them like I would love someone that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, that I believe God connected, that's a difference.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And anybody that say that they can do that, I'm not saying that. I don't know what people do or how they think, but I would really ask the person, what's your definition?
That has to be exhausting. Let's just start there.
Yeah, because Solomon, I don't know, he had 700 wives and 300 concubines. He didn't love them all.
No, it does not say that he loved them.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out how did he differentiate between who he wanted to wife and who was just going to be his concubines. Like, first, never mind. I don't even know why we talking about that. Let's not even talk about that.
But that's it's important. I think someone need to ask the person that, what is your definition?
What's your definition of love?
Yeah, tell me, explain, communicate, because then you'll get down to the why and make them dig.
Yeah.
Make them dig and tell you why. Not because I love you and if it's superficial, you'll be able to see it. Oh, because I want to spend it. Yeah. I hear you. So the tongue in your mouth got to match the tongue in your shoes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes. You're absolutely right. Well, I thank you guys. How much time we have left? 10 minutes. Oh, okay. That's a lot of time. All right. Well, let's see if I can ask another question then. I know what I wanted to ask you. How do you deal with, for all of the people who are watching, how do you deal with anybody? I guess I'll leave it at gender. Gender doesn't matter, but your husband is very, very friendly. He has a great personality. He talks to a lot of people. And one of the questions that we had was, do you allow your husband or your spouse, either way, to have friends of the opposite sex? And if so, how do you interact with those people? How do you handle those situations?
You talking about friends as far as business friends or just friends in
They just said friends.
Okay,
So I'm
so
going to
we
just
don't go with
assume, like, when guys say they have a best friend, but she's a girl, that's what I'm assuming.
Okay. Well, I know he don't have no best friend, no female best friend, because I'm the best friend.
I know that's right.
But as far as he only female friends that he have is
Well, how would you
probably
So how
the
would
business, and dealing with that, I am good because I trust my husband and everything. There is times though where I just tell him, me and him might have a conversation, like maybe that person, blah, 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 because he thinks, but sometimes he thinks, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and da, da, da. And sometimes normally I'm right, you know. So
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I trust my husband with anybody because or whatever, but it's just that, I don't get too, I don't mind him, doing business and everything, but, he knows me, so and if I feel a certain way or I hear a certain because sometimes when he be on the phone, sometimes you hear those conversations.
Yes, you do. Who you talking
to? Like, stop telling our business or stop. Why you in that business?
I gotta tell y'all this story.
He goes too far. My husband is very friendly.
Yeah, he is very friendly.
And he goes too far sometimes. And I ain't no jealous wife because I know, but I'm just saying that sometimes I have to pull him up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like just,
sometimes you're jealous, right?
No, I'm never jealous. But,
sometimes you mad.
I ain't jealous.
Yeah. So listen.
But sometimes I just have to pull him up and tell him, why. Watch how you saying this. Why? Because you don't know how people might be taking.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That's my only concern. Other than that, I'm pretty good.
Now, let me tell you what my wife did. I'm at the gas station talking to the lady in the gas station window, and she asking me questions about my cousin. So I'm telling her, and I'm like, okay, I come back to the pump to pump the gas. She done locked the door, jumped over in the driver's seat. I pumped the gas. She banging on the hooter. I'm like, calm down. Wait till I get in the car. I pumped the gas. I said, Tiana, open the door. She pulls off a little bit.
And left him?
Now she ain't leave. She pulled off, and then she said, "Who?" I'm like, let me get in the car. Let me get in the car. We can talk, right? Because there's all these people out here. This is rush hour, right? But anyway, I say that to say that for me, is if it's dealing with business, so business, you got to learn how to interact with everybody. Yeah, if not, it's going to be a point that you're going to be limiting what you can do, what your business produce. The relationships business is built on relationships. I always say this. I say I don't like the transaction. I like the relationship. And people that I know today that still come to my store, that still call me, I met 15 years ago, 17 years ago. And the reason why is because I built a relationship. I believe that everybody that I come in contact with, not everybody's going to be have a relationship with, but everybody, well, not everybody, but I believe in building a relationship with people. You'll always have them as a lifetime. Whether they need me, I need them. Man or woman. This is the crazy part about it. I don't judge whether it's man or woman. This is what I did tell my wife. So she was telling me how a woman was talking. I said, but did you hear the guy? So what are you saying? It's nothing wrong with the guy, but you see, it was we was at an event one time. The guy was like, "No, I'm taking a picture with him," and the lady was like, "No, I'm taking a picture." and it's not that I'm anybody. It's crazy. But my wife was like, "Yeah, that woman." I'm like, "But did you hear the guy? Yeah, you missed that part." And see, it ain't just the point that it's nothing going on. It's the point of what they.
I'm sure
they looking
guys
at the
like
success.
Your I'm sure they into it.
No, not that way. No, hold up.
Sure.
Let me get this grease off my forehead. So nobody will. Nah. I had to throw that in there.
I know you did.
But I say that because my wife,
God.
everybody, when you're dealing with business, it's
Yeah.
about building relationship. Because
Yeah.
if you got the relationship,
Yeah.
then you got that person for a lifetime.
And I didn't understand that at first, but I understand it now.
Yeah.
Because one transaction, if I'm gonna deal with you, I don't get to know you, I don't know who you are. I got one transaction from you,
That's true.
and that's it. Because I ain't trying to know you. I'm not trying. I'm just trying to get one thing from you, and that's money. That was never my thing. Before I met my wife, that was never my thing.
Well, I guess I was a little different because I'd be like, shoot, you gotta go over there and rub the women's feet to get to sell the lotion. Go rub the feet to sell the lotion.
yeah.
Like I'd be like, come on, because we need this money. Do what you gotta do. As long as I don't know about it, do whatever it is you want to do, and come on home. Because I was like, we need this bread. Like, let's go sell these products. That's what we need to do. They used to be in there, spa parties, all this stuff, just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I used to be, and they'd be like, oh, I didn't even know you was married. I was like, I'm sure you did know you was married. I'm sure. But
Rubbing mask on my face. Oh, that feels so good.
Exactly. But no, we have had some wonderful experiences together in business, and the business ventures that we're doing now, I'm really excited about those things, and I think that there's nowhere to go but up from here. God has been opening up so many doors, and it's that thing where he opens up windows and pours you out a blessing. It's that right there that's going on right now. So I'm just blessed and honored to have you guys as guests on my show. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you for inviting us.
Yes.
And having us on your show.
Yes,
So
this was amazing. This was amazing. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We want to thank you so much for being a part of this relationship edition, love and business, with my wonderful friends, the Coates. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Catch up on previous episodes on any of your favorite podcast outlets.